Okay, first of all, rest in peace to the comic historian. He was a great man. I gave a community post because it was very sad to hear his passing, especially the way he died. I just wish he died in a way more peaceful way. So, yeah. And, let's be truthful, Godzilla deserves to go to hell. It's not just me, right? Look, I feel bad for him, but we can't stay sad. He'd want us to be happy. But, thank you, man.
You guys asked, and we delivered. Godzilla in hell! Yeah, I don't have any more opening for this. Enjoy.
One cool thing is this comic has no words.
As Godzilla watches the skies around him turn red, and he feels the ground around him rumbling, crumbling away.
Oh, okay, show us.
Hole appears where he's standing, and then soon Godzilla's massive body goes plummeting to the floor below. His giant body crashes down and he looks around and there's a stone pillar that reads, "Abandon all hope, ye who enter." Godzilla gathers his strength and he releases a destructive energy beam destroying that pillar, and he continues walking through this underground world. After some time, he finds what looks like a demonic power plant and he investigates it further. Upon looking into one of the smokestacks,
I seen one of the comments say Godzilla is dumb and he's too curious. He's in hell.
There seems to be a fleshy substance, and then it lashes out, attacking Godzilla.
They don't say it, but in lore, this is the devil. Godzilla.
He manages to pull the lump out of the stack and he throws it to the ground, stomping on it. Onward he pressed, slightly feeling the effects of the attack from the flesh creature. And then as the winds began to pick up, Godzilla noticed a violent storm approaching. Within the folds of the storm are people, swirling around towards Godzilla.
I love this. I mean, it's all implied, but I have a big fan theory. This is all people Godzilla's killed. It's cool, because I want Godzilla to suffer for his actions. Like, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I didn't see Godzilla as a hero here. I was wanting Godzilla to stay in hell. I wanted him to be damned because he deserves it. He's a monster.
Godzilla. The winds begin to wrap around him and the weight of it pushes him to the ground, throwing him to the center of the...
Oh. Every single day it's always been the same time. You and I drink poison like the same lies. You and I drink a poison like we read the same lies.
Around him and the weight of it pushes him to the ground, throwing him to the center of the storm. The airway was clear and Godzilla...
This is the devil in the Godzilla universe. Now, let's state the facts for this fight. Godzilla's been thrown around by everyone he's ever suffered. He's used a lot of atomic breath and he's just fell. I mean, this is the devil. In the Bible's lore, one of the strongest creatures that have ever existed besides God and Jesus, so I don't think Godzilla's going to be able to kill him.
Let's see something. Another version of himself. As he inspects it, he sniffs around and then suddenly the copy's eye mutates and its entire body splits apart. Tendrils and veins spring out of the body, whipping around. The creature grabs Godzilla, slamming him into the floor. Godzilla's then lifted up once more, but this time he opens his mouth to fire.
Godzilla looks so kind of weirdly cute for a comic.
A beam into the tendrils, freeing himself. Using his weight, he falls down into the creature and he starts to rip it apart with his claws. Then the two arms reach out, grabbing him by the shoulders and throwing him back. More veins appear, and as they wrap around Godzilla's neck, then his body, they pull him into the devouring maw that is the creature's mouth. With no hope to pull away, Godzilla charges himself and he runs headfirst into that creature's mouth. And
now, there's a debate about whether they made this a real movie, and I didn't want to see this. But now I realize how cool it would be. Now, Toho, I think you should make this an 18+ TV show. Make it horror. Make you feel disgusted. And actually make the corpses, like, all radiated and burned and mutated, you know? Make the show feel like you are actually in hell. And yes, you could still make it just a movie, but I think a TV show would be better. I get it, it's unholy, and I do agree as a Christian, it would be disgusting. Well, who would not want to see Godzilla destroy hell again?
Soon after, there's a crackle within its body, and Godzilla releases that energy, destroying the creature from within. Fleshy.
He killed the devil. Like, how how does that work? Is heaven gone now, or what? How does that work?
Clubs fly through the cavern, and then Godzilla feels another rumble from below. The ground gives
Can you imagine if a monster first did this?
way again, and it begins to fall further into hell. This time, Godzilla picks himself up, and he
Told you a different style.
quickly looks around and sees another creature, Rodan. The winged demon flaps its
I
wings
guess this Rodan is actually a demon.
towards Godzilla, and in response, he charges another blast and he fires! However, Rodan dodges the attack, flying ever closer to Godzilla. Once Rodan is close enough, Godzilla
wait,
spins
Godzilla's
back, lifting
different.
his tail, smacking Rodan.
Kind of makes you wonder, because I think each comic is different. Is this really canon to the same lore? Because it never had a planned story in lore.
And down into the unnatural
never
city.
gave a story.
He then moves
This
onward,
was
feeling the
the
cool and
difference
icy
from
winds blowing by. And as he peers into the blue and white cavern, he sees another of his old enemies. But just like Rodan, it's
He's not his enemy, he's his friend.
possessed by a demon. Ungarius crawls his way out, roaring at the sight of Godzilla, and they begin their battle. However, with one giant toss, Godzilla throws Ungarius into the ground, causing it to shake. With the cracks splintering through the cavern, Godzilla breaks free of the icy tomb, moving onward to the next. The ground begins to melt away, and the lightning strikes down over the sea that was recently.
This is cool. This is a unique monster who I think really would like to. I would really like to see an action figure of him or a plush or something. He needs to be more
Created.
social media.
Spines appear in the water, and then a face. The face of the demonic Varan. Godzilla blasts down into those waters, so easily scaring the creature away. And then a bright light appears, and soon Godzilla realizes why Varan made a hasty retreat. From that light, the reason why Godzilla was dragged into this hell. The three-headed dragon, King Ghidorah, descends.
It's Ghidorah, not Ghidorah.
Just starts to cast bolts of lightning within the maelstrom, striking the waters, causing Godzilla to feel that familiar feeling of falling. A whirlpool swirls around, pulling the beast down, but rather than fight it, Godzilla dives headfirst to escape this level of torment. The light begins to return as Godzilla now sees himself in the destroyed land that was once Rio. But this time, the enemy
did this came before GXK? Could you imagine? Obviously, they cannot destroy Jesus' statue because lots of Christians could have got mad. This could have been Godzilla and Kong, and this could have been Skorkin and Shimo. Just imagine our own universe.
faces is Space Godzilla. Godzilla begins to gather his energy, and so does Space Godzilla. Electricity strikes the black cloud, charging up Space Godzilla even more, and then the fiery breath is released. Godzilla takes the hit, walking through the blaze until he manages to grab onto Space Godzilla's arms. With his own blast, Godzilla lets loose his energy straight into Space Godzilla's mouth, forcing him down. While still on fire, Godzilla steps on the beast's chest, screaming once more before unleashing a second blast. However, Space Godzilla returns to attack with his own
I love that frame, how faint
fiery blast, causing the two opposing forces to gather power. The light shines from the two of them, and an explosion begins to spread, engulfing the entire planet, until finally there is no more planet. After closing his eyes, Godzilla opens them back up to see that now he's in a field of flowers. Before him stands a great tower with a...
Okay, this is a metaphor of heaven, which... Oh, so creepy. As I've said, my biggest fear of going to heaven is that I'll become a Bible-accurate angel. I get everyone else will look like that, but to lose my humanity, it scares me. I mean, it's like that horrible history, like Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids, how a kid goes to Wi-Fi eye and he's just two hands, one eye, and a brain. I don't want to live as a bunch of eyes. This isn't meant to be a disgrace against God, but Bible-accurate angels, they're terrifying. I'm sorry, dude, but I don't want to spend the rest of eternity looking like that.
Fluttering wings of angels flying around it, and as he gets closer, the tower's eyes open up, releasing a force pushing him back. Godzilla stands there after the attack, looking at one of the angels, and then he crushes it. The voices start to call out, "You mustn't defy peace! Serve peace! Submit!" The tower once again releases its power, and with its colorful energy, it pushes Godzilla down even further into this hell. As the ground fades, Godzilla falls into another cavern, with ice covering the floor, and as he gets up to look around below him is Space Godzilla crawls out of the ice as the hell. As the ground look around below him is Space Godzilla. The voices begin to laugh as the imp
It was not Purple Godzilla, but we're just gonna pretend it was him.
shout, "Welcome to hell!" And with that, Space Godzilla crawls out of the ice, and the voices get louder. Consume his heart, enter his throat. Welcome to hell. Consume his heart. Godzilla starts to shoo away the imps, grabbing and eating those that he can. And then Space Godzilla charges, knocking Godzilla into the ice pillar. A hand reaches out of the ground, holding Godzilla into place, and Space Godzilla forcibly opens his mouth. Before the imps could fly, there's an explosion from the ceiling going off, and the angels from before fly down into Godzilla's mouth. He bites down, consuming their strength, and he shields himself from Space Godzilla's attacks. He reaches out, shattering the power crystals along with Space Godzilla's shoulder, and then he fires one last attack to try and survive. The beam bounces off Godzilla's shield and right back into his own stomach, blasting through it, and the body parts of Space Godzilla fall to the ground. The angels all say how they've aided him with his victory. He must serve them in their battle against hell. Godzilla looks down the path to the next level, and then he turns, firing a hole into the wall. With one last swipe, he grabs a handful of angels and imps alike, and he eats them, showing no desire to help.
Not trying to sound holy, but I do like that, you know, Godzilla is a force of Earth and does not care about hell or heaven.
Godzilla walks through the hole that he created, onto the next thing that awaits him.
Architecture and interior design?
Like it. It really
Find a 3D designer today.
That's more to his character.
With some time passing, Godzilla shrieks as he stands over the bodies of Ghidorah and the Destroyer.
Now, it says sometime passing. Was this a year, a month? You gotta remember, Hell time and Earth time are probably completely different.
Of his most fearsome enemies have now fallen to his strength, and Godzilla gets ready to move on to whoever may be next. However, before getting too far ahead, the cuts and the wounds that he just inflicted start to heal, and the enemy's eyes
I grow back his horn and
begin to open. Then a low growl can be heard from the two of them, and Godzilla stops.
Oh, was this possessed Godzilla? Wait. He was possessed by victims of war. Wouldn't. Now listen, I am not trying to sound offensive here, but some of those victims of war probably went to hell. So, they should be there physically, and someone would go to heaven, so they should be, in heaven physically. They're both innocent, but, obviously went to hell. I mean, you can't take 1 billion people and expect them all to be perfect. I'm sorry, but that's just life.
Where he is standing. They had combined their attacks to try and overpower Godzilla. And in a moment of pause in the attack, Godzilla quickly focuses his energy beam onto the Destroyer, pushing him away. Behind them is Batra, and he swoops down, picking Godzilla up, throwing him into a building. Ghidorah quickly follows in after pursuit, and then he spots Godzilla, so he latches on.
This is why this needs to be a TV show. This would be the coolest Godzilla fight ever.
Soaring into the sky. Once they get to the right height, he lets go to let Godzilla fall to the ground. But instead of hitting that ground, Godzilla lands right onto an antenna, stabbing right through him. Low roars begin to fade, and then his eyes open. And then he rips the tip of the antenna off, freeing himself. He tries to take down the walls built around him, but before he can do any damage, Destroyer returns. More of the insect monsters begin to show up, and then there's an explosion in the distance. Down at Godzilla's feet, something lands, and he sees it's his head. The world begins to become blurry, and the enemies go back to beating down on Godzilla. Both Ghidorah and Destroyer bite down into him, bringing him to the ground, and then there's a
Now, to a person who said Godzilla is dumb, just watch this clip.
flicker in
Don't give him hate, Godzilla fans, but just watch it.
Godzilla's eye. The light that he is seeing is the two energies fighting each other, and they both belong to Ghidorah and Destroyer. He gets back up and begins to shoot at the wall, and then Ghidorah and Destroyer stop fighting each other, and they combine their attacks back on Godzilla. As the beam hits Godzilla's head, he ducks.
Look, Godzilla was smart enough to know he was not going to win that fight because hell kept healing them. So he made them break the wall. I mean, to say Godzilla is not smart, this shows that Godzilla is smart.
Allowing the beams to fire into the wall, causing it to crumble. With one more exit, Godzilla continues to travel down the icy path, not knowing what's next. And after getting out of the chilly winds, he finds a large brick.
Ooh, this is kind of gross. If people think Shin Godzilla is gross, He ain't seen nothing yet.
He begins to cross it. Just like everything else, that too crumbles before him, causing him to fall deeper down.
Oh, that's like, you really should lose some pounds.
Below. As he gets up, swinging his tail in anger, he destroys one of the stone pillars. However, within those pillars are small red creatures, and the moment that their nests fall, they come swarming out. The winged creatures follow Godzilla as he presses on, and as the lightning strikes, Godzilla sees a giant mountain with another fleshy creature on top. He opens his mouth to fire a beam, but nothing comes out. He tries again, gathering even more energy, but still the same result. And with no other choice, Godzilla starts to climb the mountain.
I love this moment, because it's so cool to see Godzilla have to climb. It's so unlike...
Creatures look down at Godzilla, and then there's a rumble on the...
Oh, so... I know like someone physically couldn't do it, but could we get a size comparison? How big are these fins, you know? How big are these fins?
Mountainside. An avalanche begins to pour out of the mountain and onto Godzilla, and even still he pulls himself out of the debris. As he gets up, he sees the small creatures are surrounding him, all hissing and making noise. He then closes his eyes and lets the creatures consume him. The swarm flies all around, eating...
This is one of my favorite comic panels of all time.
Every bit of his flesh and innards, until all that's left is a pile of bones. Once the creatures have had their fill, they all fly down to those bones, wrapping themselves...
Godzilla, if Godzilla's an idiot, I already know this. I mean, it's just
around it, and then the shrieks of the creatures ring out as they recreate another Godzilla. Using all of the energy that they just ate up, each creature focuses its mouths towards the top of the mountain, creating a massive energy attack. The beam tears through the mountain and then through the flesh creature that sits atop. The creatures then walk on the bones of the mountain to where the creature once stayed.
I love him walking up to a Japanese temple. That's really
cool.
They're
walking through the arches, the bones of Godzilla disappeared, and then Godzilla returned back to the real world with his own body, his journey in hell complete. And there you have it, Godzilla in Hell. You guys have been requesting that one for a long time. So, go ahead and request something else really obscure and weird. I mean, it doesn't get much more weirder than Godzilla in Hell. You know none of them talk, right? You know we had to wing and describe everything. I hope you guys enjoyed, and you can find more
I really liked it.
More independent books right over here. And you can subscribe to the channel to get your favorite comic books read dramatically back to you.
Godzilla fought Zeus. That's cool. So, if we're taking that here, that means Ghidorah and Destroyer are stronger than the devil, because Godzilla, who fell from Earth to Hell, which, you know, the Bible says it's a hollow Earth, so a coral Earth. Now, it's probably not, it's probably even deeper, but if we just use that, he fell to coral Earth. And he destroyed a sign that was really tall on him, so probably, you know, like 1,000 feet, maybe 1,000,000 feet. And he was getting swarmed and all this shit. And he killed the fucking devil. Like, how strong is Ghidorah and Destroyer? Yes, they were getting healed, but... Jeez. I really liked it. Now, I hope you know, I am Christian, so... This is really unholy, but I like the book. I'm gonna give it probably a 6 out of 10 because there's no reading. Book, God, Jesus, I feel so guilty making this video, so please forgive me, God. Don't forgive me, I'm sorry. I really wanted to make it because, you know, he's dead and I felt bad for him. Well, bye guys. Thank you guys for watching.